Hey everybody! I'm not someone to usually post game reviews. I'm vocal about bad decisions in games, or talk about features I'd like to see in them, but I've never really been one to make an entire review to post online. I've posted ideas to games before, most going unnoticed or unheard of. I was kind of skeptical of Jedi Fallen Order. I was worried, as probably most of us were, if not all, that a Star Wars game made by EA can't be that good with everything that has happened. But to my surprise, it's actually good. I wouldn't call it a perfect Star Wars game, but it's good. I have plenty of ideas on how to add to the current game for the sequel or DLC or expansion or whatever you want to call it. I'll give my quick takes at the end, as well as what I'd consider a perfect Star Wars game mechanic-wise. To start off with, let's talk about the story. I don't want to go into it too much and keep it spoiler-free. All I really want to say about it is that the game has a good single-player story. There isn't anything that's too surprising. I myself expected a lot of the events that happen. Yet the visuals are so amazing you kind of overlook it. You have visions which match those you find in the movies and cartoons and make you feel like you're actually experiencing them. Same for the flashbacks. There are giant creatures that truly make you feel small and insignificant. Forgive me, but I like the words to describe the beauty of everything without spoiling anything of it. Let me just summarize the story so we can hurry up to the abilities. You're a Jedi Padawan that has completed his basic training when Order 66 occurs. You escape, but forget almost everything from your training. Overall, I'd say the story feels a bit short, compared to most single-player stories, however. 20 hours of story I read somewhere, which seems about right. A bit less perhaps based on difficulty? So, the abilities. Well, the abilities fit the story. You're a Padawan, thus your abilities are basic. Pull, push, lightsaber throw, and slow time. A lot of them you learn through the story. Unlocking them allows you to explore more of the worlds, freeing another section of the map. It fits. It's nothing fancy like the Force Unleashed or so, where you have grip and lightning or self-heal. Makes sense too, cause you're a Jedi and not a Sith. Well, except for self-heal perhaps. But there isn't Force Crush to use against droids or mind tricks on humans, for instance. You're a Padawan after all, it's why it makes sense. This'll pop up later on in my review as well. What about combat? I found the combat to be quite fun. I mostly found myself blocking a lot to find an opening. I've never played Dark Souls, but the game seems to get some of its inspiration from it. Though it's more for the casual gamer, depending on the difficulty you choose. The bonfire mechanic for healing and upgrading, and the spot where you'll be set to if you die, is an example of its inspiration. It's sad that if you die or heal that it resets the enemies, for instance. I don't have a problem with the reset itself, but with the type of enemies that respawn. For example, you fight 3 stormtroopers with rifles on a cliff and you kill them, then heal. Those 3 stormtroopers with rifles will be there again. A solution to this could be switching it up. Make it 2 instead of 3, make it a different type of stormtrooper. You can play with that a bit to make it a new experience each time you go there. You have 2 different stances, a single saber or double-bladed saber. The switching mechanic is wonderful, just as I wished for. The animations are marvelous. It's all wonderful, but then you get the ability for a split saber. The split saber can only be performed, it's not a stance, which is a shame. Another point is that you can only choose a single crystal color for the 2 parts. The customizations are nice. You can choose certain colors for the ship and your droid companion, as well as your poncho. I'm not a real fan of the poncho though. I'd rather have had a few more outfit options or skins. You can give your lightsaber different designs, use different parts for the hilt beside the crystal. It's a new feature that feels fun. If you're like me, however, you'll rarely alter your saber once you found the look you desire. but it's nice to have the option, nonetheless. When the game ends, you can continue to explore and gather stuff, but there isn't a new game plus, which makes slightly sense due to the fact that the game has no real reason to explore after you've gathered everything. I mean, the game is quite a bit of exploration, but the few reasons to explore are to get a buff for your health and force or to find customizations. It's fun to do that, but once you get that, it's done. They could add more customizations though. I for one am no fan of the poncho. I hate it. I would have loved to see different costumes or skins to play with, even. They could have put that in the boxes on a New Game Plus, in those you've gathered before for those that hate ponchos. There is also a companion you can pick up along the way. Well, a pet rather. But you can never really see it aboard your ship. Online you'll find that you'll have to be rather lucky to spot them. It's stupid. It feels like they wasted time on it, or didn't spend too much on it, cause you can't pet it either. It does nothing. Bit of a shame. Another small pet peeve I have is the fact that there appear to be doors that are never opened. Doors that I can freely assume lead to the rest of the crew's bedrooms. It would have been fun to see those, cause the ship feels like a single giant hallway divided into small sections due to how things are placed, and it makes it feel like you're the only one who has a bed. So, what are my solutions and suggestions for a future sequel or DLC? The first 2 points could be small hotfixes. Let's start with the smallest thing first, the pet you pick up. Make it appear more frequently and clearer. Perhaps have it sit on the sofa. Allow the player to pet it. I know the animal is a shy creature, but why the heck would you bring it on your ship then, if you're never going to have any companionship out of it? For the chambers, I'd add some small chambers for the crew, some that are slightly open at times instead of constantly closed, just so the ship feels more than just a hallway. As for the split saber, make it a separate stance, just like the double-bladed saber. Allow the player to choose to reattach both sabers together or not and let them ignite the blades at will. I can't begin to explain how much fun I had simply switching stances from one saber to dual saber along the way or even mid-battles. Combine this idea with the customization ability of changing the color crystal of the second blade. It does make some sense. About the combat, as I've already stated, change it up a bit with each reset. Different amount of troops and different type of enemies staying within the enemy type. Different trooper type or different animal type, for example. The sequel or DLC could expand on the abilities, maybe a non-canon dark side form or neutral path, as a lot of Star Wars lore is stepping into the grey side of the Force. Light can expand with Force Crush on droids, Ignite, Electric Judgment, the Yellow Lightning, and Mind Control. If you go the grey route or dark side, you could allow Force Grip, also known as Force Choke, and Lightning. With Choke, or Grip, however you wanna call it, you'd be able to freely move the target around and toss them over the edge with more ease perhaps. Levitating objects is a power the Force Unleashed mastered greatly and would seem like a great next step in Cal's journey. On customizations, I'd suggest different outfits. Introduce a New Game Plus with a reason to explore those areas again. The game is so wonderful it's worth replaying it with all your powers, skills and customizations unlocked. All that's lacking are different outfits and a reason to explore again. Alright, now about my ideal Star Wars game idea. I find its inspiration mostly in the Shadow of War game, presumably playing in the time of the Old Republic. You'd be able to play either as Jedi or Sith, and would have the abilities of those sides at your disposal. Both factions have a menu like the Orc Warlords. These would be bosses. They'd be the most powerful and have certain strengths and weaknesses, such as a Jedi who's invulnerable to Force Choke or Lightning, but weak to Force Push. It's not only Jedi or Sith that could be in these listings, but also troopers and bounty hunters or droids. Each faction would have their own hierarchy. Just like the Nemesis system, you could obtain a personal rival. Beside that, both factions can have random actions occur, just like the Orc events in Shadow of War. A Jedi can fall to the dark side, or a Sith can join the Jedi. A trooper can defect as well. A Jedi and Sith might fight. The Sith might die and his apprentice is seeking revenge, taking his place as Lord. If you kill someone, their apprentice or ally might send out a group of Jedi or Sith after you. He can also send troopers, droids and bounty hunters after you, or face you personally. The relationships don't always have to be allies, it could be actual family. Besides these bosses, you'd have regular troops and Jedi or Sith that are easily slain, who can't truly block your attacks, especially forced ones. Other than that, you could have elites that are slightly stronger and stand a little more of a chance against you, a bit on the level of trolls in Shadow of War. Though they wouldn't have to be bigger. You'd be able to choose and switch between single-bladed saber, split saber and double-bladed saber, like you can in Jedi Fallen Order. Well, as you can with double-bladed saber and single. Maybe also different stances or fighting styles. Another thing could be reverse grip for split saber and single saber. You'd be able to have free choice over the crystals, maybe less so in full customization of the entire saber, but it could be possible as well. You'd be able to find crystal in crystal caverns, or you'd be drawn to one through sound. You'd be able to get numerous ones, as your saber might be destroyed during a blade lock with an opponent. When in a blade lock, there'd be a small chance your saber is destroyed and you'd have to draw one from the fallen enemies around you, forcing you to reforge your saber. Perhaps you could even have a customizable apprentice, both appearance and saber, and unlock certain abilities as you level them up. Eventually, as the game goes on, you might even be able to arrange the hierarchy within your faction. Maybe sooner when you're Sith, as you have to have a kind of power base to become a lord within their organization. Alright, that's my review, and that's my rant, and we'll see what's next. See you guys then!